times have you Googled ways to hide your tummy or your arms or your thighs or any other body part for that matter? That's what we're going to talk about this week. We're going to talk about the 2 ways that we approach it and what you can do about it. So first, let's talk about shame. The first way that we view these how to hide body parts is through shame. And the best way to illustrate this is through a story. I recently left my physical day job of working in retail. So that was 8 hours a day on my feet, lifting, bending, twisting, pulling, pushing, hauling Dolores and her cousins here around. And they're a good 30 pounds apiece. So changing 2 or 3 of those every day, like take it apart, put it back together, lift it, bend it, like that is a lot of physical exertion that my body went through, and it maintained my weight very well with very little effort on my part. However, now that I'm sitting all day, my body functions a little differently and does not even exert near a fraction of that. So when I went to buy some new jeans and tried on the 6s, which I thought would fit extremely well, I'm historically around a 4, and so I tried 6s and they did not fit nearly as comfortably as I expected. So I tried on 8s and those fit me beautifully. I looked great. I looked really good in these jeans. And I couldn't get over the fact that my body had decided to betray me and gain weight. Like, body, how dare you? I really did feel like my body had, turned against me, and I did not like what I saw when I looked at the number on that tag. That's what happens when we view things through shame. We look to social media for standards, and even if we're not necessarily consciously creating these standards, we absorb them through what we see. We see right now it's fashion season, so all of the fashion shows are happening in Europe and on their way over here to the States. We just had Fashion Week in Paris. If you watch my stories regularly, you saw my rant that I went on for how tall and thin and unrealistically skinny these models are. They don't represent any kind of woman I've ever seen in real life. And it's unfair to ourselves to compare to that standard. This is when we look to social media and fall into compare and despair, as my coach calls it. In psychology, it's called upward comparison, but we're using it against ourselves. As children, we use upward comparison to set goals and we have something to work towards, something to achieve. But as adults, we see it as an unattainable goal that we can never reach or that we're not good enough to reach, and we self-impose these limits and decide that's not for me, I can't look that good, I can't be that thin, I'm not good enough, and we give up. So don't give up. Do this instead. First, you're going to create yourself a support system. These are the people that you're going to lean on and call or text when you're feeling low. You can explain to them what it is that you're asking as your support system. And on those days when you roll out of bed feeling like poop on a stick, you can send them a short text or give them a quick call and say exactly that. Hey, I feel like poop on a stick today. Would you please help me reframe the way that I'm looking at myself and my body? We all know altruism in the terms of helping other people, family, friends, even strangers with random acts of kindness. So that's what you're going to do for yourself, is create random acts of kindness on yourself. Take yourself out and get your nails done if that makes you feel good. Buy a new lipstick. Go and take a walk. Put some music on in the living room and dance if it feels good to you. You want to do nice things for yourself because you deserve it. The more that you practice this, you'll move from lens number 1 of shame into lens number 2, which is security. What security looks like is finding ways, instead of to hide your body parts that you aren't really crazy about, and enhancing the ones that you love. You start looking for ways to show off your collarbones because you think that you have great shoulders and that is sexy. You look for ways to enhance your cleavage and let people see that because you think you've got a great pair of girls. You find ways to show off your calves because you rollerbladed a lot when you were a kid and they look fantastic. And everyone's going to notice. They're not going to be focusing on your tummy that you don't like, or your arms which aren't toned enough. They're gonna see the sexy parts because that's what you want them to see. And that's where your focus is. It's not on hiding something that you don't like. It's on showing off the things you love. I like to think of it as pulling out the nice china for a fancy meal. You know, Thanksgiving and Christmas are not that far away, and when we have the family over, we pull out the good stuff. And there's nothing wrong with our everyday dishes. They're not broken into pieces. We aren't eating on the Red Sea of place settings with half a plate over here holding some of our meal and the other half of a plate over here holding the rest of our meal with our silverware in between. There is no great divide of our plates. They're still whole, they're functional dishes. We just like to have something a little nicer, and that's what this is doing, is you are finding the nice things about yourself and focusing on that, and everything falls in line right behind it. So here's the action you're going to take this week. Number one, you're going to set up your support system. Find those people that you can rely on when you feel like a big sack of doggy doo, and let them know what it is that you're asking and what you're trying to accomplish. And second, do nice things for yourself. Decide what those nice things are in advance, so when that day rolls around that you feel like a big sack of doo, you already know how you're going to react and what you're going to do for yourself. And make it simple. Give yourself a lollipop like you were when you were a kid and you went to the doctor and they said, "Here, have a sticker. Would you like this lollipop?" Do nice little things like that for yourself. It's all about taking care of you, and that's what we're gonna do. Until next time, remember, I adore you. Mind your style. Bye.